Hey guys, this is James with websitesfornoobs.com. Before we get started, I just want to let you guys know, if you do not have website hosting yet, if you go to arvix.com and you type in the coupon code at checkout, newbie 20%, as I have down here at the bottom right hand of my screen. I know it's kind of cheesy, I have it in a Word document, but if you type this code in, you'll save 20% off your website hosting with arvix.com. Alright, let's get into this tutorial. First off, for those of you guys that have been following our tutorials and the whole section of it, in this tutorial we're going to be messing around with this main navigation bar. Actually, it says main body. I was trying to make the video earlier and I got interrupted, so I had to redo the whole video over again. But anyway, so what you guys should see right now, if you guys have been doing exactly what we've been doing, you should have a red box there. It says main nav, goes here, and it's pretty much ready for us to edit it. So before we do anything, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this background color on main nav because I don't want that background color there. I only did there in the previous videos just so I could separate the sections out so I could actually see what it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that background color by highlighting the background color on the main CSS and press the delete button. If I click off that, it goes back to what you would initially see when creating a navigation tab. Alright, so before we do anything, let's go ahead and look at the code. First off, the only code we have on CSS is main nav. Right? And if we go over to our source code, we come down, you see our main nav right here. And it says nav ID, main nav content for ID goes here, and then here's our closing tag for the main nav. Alright, so you don't see anything else going on right there. The first thing we want to do is, let's go ahead and throw it back in design mode, or split mode, correction. Alright, we're going to go ahead and highlight this text over here. You highlight on the design or on the left hand side, and go ahead and delete that text. Alright, and what we're going to do is, once you delete the text and on the design side it's still showing us there, but we're going to go over to the unordered list and we're going to select unordered list. Alright. Alright, so I don't know why I just did that. It was a little glitch in my computer for that split second. So when you select unordered list, you're going to automatically see within the div ID on the HTML side, you're going to see UL appear, which is unordered list, which is what we're using over here, and you're going to see LI appear. Alright, and LI means it's a list item. So if we come over here to this bullet that we see on the design page, we go throw caps lock on, go and type the word home. Alright, and as you see, the word home appears in between those two LI tags. Alright, so go ahead and press enter, and you'll see another bullet appears, and then we have two more LI tags appear right here. And what this text is going to be, it's going to be the text that's going to be within our navigation bar for each link. So you can make as many as you want, as little as you want. Just make sure you don't want to have too many links on top because it could get confusing for people, or they may just look at it and look away and get off your website. So we don't want too many links, but at the same time we want enough links to where people can bounce around between the main pages of our website. And this is part of the website structure. So your main prominent pages are going to go on top. So for myself, for a specific website, I'm going to go ahead and type in the pages that I'm going to use as my main pages on this overall within the file plan that we're using. So e-commerce, and of course, like with you guys, if you're following along with this video step by step, make the pages whatever you want to name them. All right, if you're just doing it for fun right now, you go ahead and do page 1, page 2, page 3, however you want to do it. Just make it to what you want to do. Okay? And contact us. All right, so this is going to be a navigation links that I'm going to utilize for our website. And as you see, we have our LIs have been added on, and each of the text has been added into them. So the second step in making this navigation bar is we want to highlight this text, all right? And we want to make Dreamweaver act like it is a link for our website. So by doing that, if you don't have a page yet, which we don't so far, I'm going to go ahead and put a pound sign, and it'll change it to blue with underline, blue line. Okay, so we'll go ahead and keep doing that, and we'll do that for all of them. Oh, undo that. Sorry. Alright, so as we start building this website, for those of you guys who are pretty good with doing web design, or if you guys have any tutorials you guys want to add to my website for, let's say, making website banners, or if you've got some better tutorials that you have on YouTube and you want to link them up to our page, go ahead and just shoot them over to my email. I'll post the email up here on the main page for future videos, and also I'm going to throw it onto the YouTube video comments area, explain the website itself. All right, now for my home page, I want to actually test out with the real page, so I'm going to go ahead and link it to our current website, which is the temporary website that we threw up for the beginning of this tutorial. All right, and go click off of that. So now we have a bunch of links. All of our text is blue and it's all underlined, but we still have these ugly little black dots here, and it really doesn't look that good. Even though it's an operational navigation bar, you have created a navigation. What we're going to do is we're going to decorate it up a little bit, make it look a little bit better for our customers that be coming to our website. So if we go over back to the main CSS page, you notice we have added nothing onto that at all. Everything we've done so far is within HTML. Okay. One thing I forgot to point out is as we made those little pound signs, in between the LI tags, encompassing or surrounding the actual names of our web pages, you see a new tag, all right, an href tag, all right, and you see this little pound sign right here, all right. Now, if you look at the top above that for the home page, you actually see a web link for it instead of a pound sign. So this will actually take us to an actual website, and what's going to happen is when we test this page out, Dreamweaver will take us to this website for when we click home, but for the rest of them, the only thing that's going to happen, you're going to see changed up in the top URL, you're going to see pound sign appear at the end of our URL link, just showing that, hey, this is a link and it does work. All right, so the next thing we got to do is we got to start styling up this navigation bar and make it look good. Right? So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the main CSS page. And what we're going to do is we're going to start messing around with this main nav portion. All right? For this main nav, what I want to do is I already know how wide I want it. I want it exactly 1,000 pixels, which is the width of the page that we're going to be utilizing. So I'm going to go ahead and press enter, and you guys can either do it on this right side, you can type in width and type in 1,000 pixels, or whatever you guys, however wide you want your page to be, or you can come over, select main nav, select the width, and just type it in over here. Okay. So next thing we want to do is we want to create a another div tag for the main nav, but what we're going to do is we want to attack the UL tags. We want to attack the actual tags encompassing all this text right here. So we've already messed with the main nav, so we're going to move down the div to the ULs. All right. So you could either go over here to select this on the right hand side, select your main CSS, and type in pound, and you do main nav, and then type in UL, or you can just type it in on the left hand side over here. Make sure you do opening and closing brackets. Okay. So I'm going to press enter. Now, if you do it on the right-hand side, if you've been following along, you notice that our main nav UL falls below our header, and it doesn't go underneath our main nav. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and cut, and I want to paste it underneath our main nav UL section. Right? I use a quick key, Command X, and then Command V for Mac. If you're using Windows, just use your cut and paste for Windows. Okay, so now we got that nav UL set up. What we're going to do is the first thing we'll do is we want to get rid of these little black dots, all right? So the quickest way to do that is press enter underneath the UL, and you can either come through here and find list style type and select that and type in none. Or if you come over to the right hand side in the main nav UL, if you go all the way down to the bottom, you see the same exact one, just select none. All right. So now that we've got that, you notice the little black dots are gone away. Okay, so the next thing we do is we want to type the margin and padding. So if we go ahead and type in the word margin, put the colon, all right, and type in 0 pixels, and go semicolon, and do the same thing for padding. So sometimes I find this to be a little quicker depending on what I'm doing, than going over to right and finding it all in the little properties bar. So sometimes I like to actually type in what I'm going to do. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I want to make our width for this, for the main nav UL, which I'm also going to make 1,000 pixels just like I did for the main nav. So I'm going to go ahead and just copy and paste that down here also. It's as simple as that. And as you notice, I just realized this on the main nav, make sure you do 1,000 pixels and add your semicolon. All right. So we did our width 1,000 pixels, and that's one thing. Common thing is if your code isn't working, go through and make sure that you've got all your opening closing brackets. Make sure you've got your semicolons, your colons, all that jazz. Because sometimes when you're sitting there messing around with it, you may forget something that simple, and it'll prevent your whatever you're doing from operating properly. And then finally, I'm gonna do my one last thing for this. I'm gonna go ahead and make my height as auto. All right, and as you see, it automatically appears as I type it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit the down arrow and press enter and close the tag off. All right, so this is everything we did with our height and auto. So as you can tell, after typing all that in, everything is moved up to the left and is encompassing the entire main nav box now. All right. So, oops, let's go ahead and undo that. All right, so next thing we want to do is we want to attack our A tags, all right? So as you notice, last time I was working with the main nav first, I went to UL, and I'm going to go ahead and skip LI tags, all right? Now there's tutorials all over the website, and there's different ways of doing this. Some guys actually attack the LI tags. I've always been taught how to just do the A tags. That's just the way I do it. So go back to the main CSS page, and what we're going to do is we're going to create a new tag, main nav A. So we'll go ahead pound, we'll do main nav, and see it pops up. Select enter. I'm going to type in the letter A, and then I'm going to opening and closing brackets. Okay, so now we have a main nav A, and as you look over here in the selectors, we have main nav A over here on the right hand side. Okay, now main nav A is where we're going to do most of our decoration for the actual navigation bar itself. So the first thing I want to do is I want to add squares around each one of these links, right? Because the squares will eventually become the borders for our colors and everything that we're going to be utilizing. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to change this out, and we're going to make a block display. So if we come over here, select main nav A, you can either come down here, select display, and change it from inline to block, or you can simply come over here to start typing in display and select block as it pops up. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and float this left. So let's go type in float. And then we're going to, before I do that, if you notice all these little yellow, I don't know how well you guys can see it from on the screen, but all these yellow blocks or boxes are encompassing each one of these now. It almost looks like a table, all right? So what we do is we actually want to take all this text, and we want them to be side by side. So let's go, to do that you do float, and what we're going to do is we're going to float it left. Select enter, and do semicolon, all right? Now watch what's going to happen when I click on it. All the text goes from left to right. Now we have an issue though. All of our stuff in the bottom just moved up to the right next to our navigation bar. So we're going to go ahead, I'm going to ignore that for now. What we're going to do is we're going to keep pressing the navigation bar, and as we do this, that text should push down to the bottom. If it doesn't, automatically do it. What we're going to do is we're going to, I'll show you how to take another section and make it shift over away from the floated area. All right? So all of our text side by side. The only problem is all of our text is pretty much touching each other, and it only takes up about 3/4 of the screen, maybe even less than that, probably about half of it. So let's go ahead and keep pressing along, and let's fix all these issues. All right. Now, if you did not put all your text in uppercase from the beginning, the next thing you want to do is you want to do a text transform, and you're going to do uppercase. All right. You'll just come over here, select uppercase, and then close tag off. All right, and that'll make it all go uppercase, but I don't want that because I've already done it. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're actually, in order to separate each of the links up, what we're going to do is we're going to specify how wide we want each button. Since I made mine 1,000 pixels, and I know I have 8 buttons, I'm going to go ahead and make them 125 pixels width a piece. So I can either come over here, select main nav A, and then I can go over here to width, and I could select pixel and type in 125, or I can just type it on the left. As you can see, it'll pop up on the left over here. Alright, so width 125 pixels. Now what has happened is our buttons have actually expanded out to 125 pixels, and it expands most of the way across the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I've completely missed a entire button here. So now I'm sitting there messing around with this, I'm like, hey, I made a mistake. So how do I fix a mistake as I make it? All right. A lot of times when you're doing something, you may not realize that you've made this mistake until you're, 3/4 of the way of creating something. So let's go ahead and add in to this text, right? So what I see, I've got my home my home button. Let's see where it's at. Maybe that's the one I'm missing. So where'd my home go? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and copy this one right here. I'm gonna go ahead and hit enter. Press the tab, and I'm gonna drop the LI tag right there. I'm gonna go ahead and change the name to home. I'm gonna go ahead and click over here to the left, and then I'm gonna take away this little pound sign, and I'm gonna type in our domain name for the website I want to go to. My fingers aren't working right now. I've got so many websites going on, I can't even think about what I'm doing. Alright, so now I've added my A tag as websitesfornoobs.com. So now let's go ahead and put it back in design mode. And look, my navigation bar is fixed, and I have all my 8 buttons, and they're expanding the entire width of the screen. Now the next issue we see, if you notice, all the text is sitting to the left, but we want to put the text in the center of each box. Let's go ahead and main nav. All right, and let's do a text align. All right, go ahead and text align. Select enter and select center, and then close that tag off. Now, if you notice, all of our text has went to the center of the buttons, which is good. That's what we want. All right, let's go back to split coding here, and all this is still in the main nav A tag. All right, so I've got my width at 125 pixels. I've got all text centered. What I want to do is I want to go ahead and change the background color. So for this one, for background color, I like using the right-hand side over here. So I'm going to go ahead and click my nav A on the left, or you can find in select this section, select main nav, and I'm going to go to background, and I'm going to go ahead and select my little background color thing. I'm going to click my little dabber, and what I want to do is I'm going to kind of make this navigation bar look like it's built into the main banner. So I'm going to go ahead and select the color on the bottom of the main banner and select enter. And as you notice, the color flows down over our navigation bar. And so the next thing is that I want to do is I want to actually attack the color of the text, because I don't want the blue text on top of the blue background. And it kind of looks ugly with all this blue text there. So I'm going to select main nav again, and I'm going to go to text, and I'm going to select text color. And for this one, let's go ahead and let's see what white looks like, and select enter. Now our text is all white. All right, and I might mess around with that later on, select a different color text, something that'll stand out against the backgrounds. Now, the one thing I'm starting to notice here is that I still have lines underneath my text. So I'm going to go ahead and do is, to get rid of those lines, I'm going to go ahead and we'll go ahead and select my nav A. I'm going to do it from over here. We're going to text decoration, and we're going to select none. And all those little white lines disappeared. Okay, so now we just have text with our background, and it's all centered up. Alright, so next thing we want to do is, these buttons look very small right now, so we want to add padding to the top and bottom of these, of the text itself. So if we go down and we say, oh, we could do padding top. And since we're doing this for, I'm assuming that most people watch this video don't do websites a lot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do it the long way. There is a shorter way of doing this, but when you're building websites and you're learning how to do it, it's good to type everything out and learn the code. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna select padding top. I know there's a shorter way of doing this, but we'll get into that later on. So padding top, we're gonna go ahead and do 7 pixels. Then we're gonna go ahead and select padding bottom. So it pops up, and then we're gonna do 7 pixels. We're going to close it off, and then we're going to click on the screen, and if you notice, the button's actually widen out a little bit. So our text is centered a little bit more farther down, and it doesn't look so small, it doesn't look so cluttered. Right? If you want them to come down a little bit more, I mean, you can go even further. You can go 10 pixels on top if you want to, and leave the bottom at 7 if you want to bring the text a little farther down. I'm going to go ahead and leave it at 7 and 7. Alright, so next thing we want to do is we want to set a position for this, and then also we want to do our margin. So we're going to do position, make sure it's on static for main nav A. Go scroll down, see position, it's already on static, so that's good to go. And then we're going to do our margin, and we're going to set a margin bottom at 1 pixel. And select enter. And over here you see margin bottom 1 pixel. Alright. So now we are done with our main nav A portion. So we're most of the way done with our actual navigation bar now. So let's go ahead and put in live mode real quick. And let's go ahead and hover over our buttons, and you can see our little hand changes from a pointer to a hand, saying that, hey, these are links, alright? So let's go ahead and take out live mode. And what we want to do is we want to change the color. As we put our hand over it, we want the background to change color and the text to change color also. So in order to do that, we're going to mess around. We're going to mess around with our hover, or it's a hover tag, an active tag, and a focus tag. Right? So the easiest way to do this, I'm going to type it in the left-hand side over here. You can type it in under selectors by selecting plus and typing all this in, but just so you guys can see it all as I do this, it makes it easier for you. We're going to go ahead and create a new tag. Right? So we're going to do main nav, select enter. We're going to select A. We're going to do a colon, and we're going to type in hover. Then we're going to go ahead and put a space, and we're going to do main. Select that, press enter, and we're going to do active. Do a space, and we're going to do pound main nav A colon, and we're going to do focus. And then we're going to go ahead and do our opening and closing tags for that. Alright, so what this is saying, hey, I want you to tag main nav hover, I want you to tag main nav active, and main nav focus. I want you to do all these all at once. Alright? So, in order to make it to where those buttons appear, or whenever you hover over it, it changes colors, what we can do is simply, we're going to go through and we're going to add a background color to this, the hover tags. We're going to add a color text, and also because we don't want them underlined underneath the text itself, we're going to go ahead and change the text decoration. So let's go ahead and select the find background color. So let's scroll main nav, click over here on the left. You see all that stuff's already populated over here. Do background, I'm going to select my little dabber tool, and I think I want to make this one a little bit lighter than what we have there now. Select enter, and then for the text itself, I'm going to go ahead and select the text button, and do my little dabber, and I'm going to do the darker color in the background for the text. Alright, and then also I'm going to go down and we're going to do text decoration as none. And then so now you see background color, text color, and text decoration. And we're going to put in live mode, and we're going to test it out. Alright, so let's go ahead and put in design, and we're going to hover over each individual one of these. So as you see, it changes, the background changes. Alright, so I don't know if I really like these colors, so before I make the next tutorial, I'll probably mess around the colors, change them around a little bit. I'm not sure yet. Might change them later on just to get the forms done. But as you can see, we now have an active navigation bar. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to preview this in Firefox and go ahead and select save. Yep. So as Firefox pops up, take a second. All right. Now, as I said earlier, we made these links, right? And we put a pound sign there. So if we go ahead and look at the very top URL bar, you see it ends in template.html. So let's go over here and select blog. And if you notice, a pound sign appears there. Alright, let's go ahead and select the back sign and do it on contact. It happens again. Alright, now if I select my home page, it should take us to the temporary website we established during the first video, showing the different types of website hostings that are good to use for developing websites. Alright, let's go ahead and exit off, and let's go ahead and make sure we save all. And that is how you make a vertical navigation bar within your screen. Thanks for watching this video. I will be showing you guys how to create the footer next. We're going to go ahead and skip the main body on the next video and go straight to the footer. Thanks for watching. You guys have a good night, and I'll be seeing you guys soon.